Greetings. I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Eat. You're on the Love Train. Hello, Brock Bandy. Hello, Arwa, Jane Aldrich, Jason, DS Kitty. I'm not dangerous, Johnny. You're an old softy with a huge heart. You know that Tommy, if you can't tell, hi, Kristen, Susie, Lisa Trimble. Tommy is making my thumbnails. You guys know where that comes from? Watch him. He's a fairly dangerous man. That is the 1973 song Uneasy Rider. Hello, Jane, from Charlie Daniels. It's a great song. I don't know if you guys know that. What a great song. Winchester Super X, good to see you. Silver Surfer, hello there. Good to see you, dude. Tell Michelle I said hello. Silver Surfer's here. All right. Steve Smallwood, good. Thanks for asking. I think you know what? Better glasses. Can't see. My eyes are getting dim. Jeremy Fowler, good to see you. The Kitsky, or the Kitsy, sorry. Good to see you, Kitsy. Hi, Donna. I had a wicked productive day. No joke. I got a lot done today. Heard you. Good to see you. Hello, Heidi. Good to see you. Yeah, I had a very, very productive day. A lot of stuff today, which is good because I have a lot of stuff to do. Hello, Cindy G. Cindy G is always so good with us. Hugs, love, and prayers. And positives. If you need or want. I need and want. Very good to see you. This is going to be an interesting one. I got an email. I'm going to read. I'm getting wise, though. You know what happened? Last time I got an email like this, I penned this long response to this person. And then hit send, and it said, sorry, this is not an address. So when I got this one, I said, hey, watch tonight. I was smart. It said, this is not an address. Thank goodness I didn't write a long email back. Getting wiser in my old age. Lilac Lime, good to see you. Gornash. If I put dark sunglasses on, I totally look like Minister Roshi. Heard that so many times. The beard's different now, though, you know. So I'm glad you guys are here. Hit the like, please. I'm likely to irritate a lot of people. I'll probably lose another 100 or so. Matters not. I told you guys already. I didn't start this for views and clicks and subs. I didn't. If I did, do you think I'd be talking the way I'm talking right now? Mike Bragg, good to see you. This is an interesting one, though. And I am going to try to keep my composure. Relatable Reese, good to see you. Joseph Afonso, Barbara Waite. Thank you for being here. All right, so listen to this email I got. And again, I'm going to try to be calm because as you saw in the title, I've been called angry. I think I'm angry. Did you drive? Good to see you. I'm going to try to maintain my composure tonight. I promise you, I can't promise you. I don't know why I'm even trying. Brock Bandy, my dude right here. It is. Started right off the bat attacking me. This is a great one. Now, you guys know my birth name is Kirk. I'm Johnny now. Last time I spoke to my dad, he called me Johnny. So that's what I go by. But anytime they write a letter to me, they title it Kirk because they think that somehow they got me. It's hilarious. It says, hey, Kirk. And I'm going to tone this down because there's a bunch of, are there F-bombs in here? There's some bad, anywhere there's a bad language, I'm going to erase that. But I have to address this. I have to. You know what? For years and years, you know what I did? I didn't address anything, and I kept my mouth shut. Jules Mark Davis, good to see you. I kept my mouth shut, and I feel really bad about that. I've apologized about it many times. You know what's happening? A lot of people are bailing, but a lot of great people are showing up, and that's always lovely. So here we go. Let me tell you why you suck, and why you were making the world worse. I think he meant you are making the world worse. Josh Cohen, good to see you. He's going to tell me why I suck and why I am making the world worse. Thunderbird, good to see you. You ready? Hey, do me a favor. Give me an inhaler. What do you do? Charlie Kirk, even though he may not have ever cursed at somebody or done anything, his message was always rooted in hate. that one party is correct and one party is not. Thank you, my good sir. Wait just a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to make sure I can breathe well. I might get fired up. $4 here, United States of America. I think it's 60 with insurance. I walked in and said, "Hey, I need an inhaler." It's so funny. Heard you. This is great. Please tell me they at least said your. There is some grammatical errors in here, but I don't think it's Owen. I don't. You never know, though. It could be. All right. So rooted in hate. I don't know if anybody has. Listen, yeah, I'm going to be talking in this video to this clown and clowns like him. So when I say you guys understand. Almost everybody that's watching right now are spectacular human beings. Crazy Cat, good to see you. Cindy G, no prescription needed. 49 people, 32 likes. We can do better. Says, please do better. So I've watched so many videos of Charlie Kirk. I've watched him in so good to see you. I've seen so many of his debates. One thing you won't find in any debates is hate. When you're going to find hate is when you don't like what he's saying. You know what this title should have been with this video? Just because you're offended doesn't make you right. It's true. I have not seen one instance of hate from Charlie. Here, you know the problem, the reason that people hate Charlie, if you watch Charlie every single time he's in a debate, what does he always go back to? Anybody? He goes back to his faith. His yardstick is the Bible, Jesus Christ, Savior. It's my Savior. And people that are oppose him hate that. Man, they hate that. And they just do this. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk to you. That's what happens. But I have never seen hate out of him. And if anybody has watched him, you haven't seen hate either. You haven't. If people say they have seen hate, I haven't heard it. It's just the truth. Steve Smallwood. Steve, the machine. Smallwood, I've never seen Kirk be hateful. He is truthful. He speaks about, listen, the yardstick he met, West Lifer, the yardstick is the Bible. And you either believe it or you don't. I do. Simple as that. Anyway, let me go on here. Just doing that causes hate and duration. I think this clown meant division. Who knows? Maybe he meant duration. Just doing that causes hate and, well, I'm going to go with division because otherwise it doesn't make sense. And division. What he really should have done, you're going to love this. Are you guys ready? What he really should have done was try to take both sides of an argument, then explain to people why his side was correct. I think, and I can't tell you what he signed it, because he signed this, a fellow name. I don't think this guy understands what a debate is. You know, when I was in school, there was a typing class. It was gym class. There was debate class. There was. There's no such thing as typing anymore. Most schools have done away with gym, with phys ed. And they certainly have done away with debate. We have lost our ability to talk about critical matters without losing our mind. Am I doing good so far? I'm calm, right? So here, Jonathan, good to see you. He doesn't understand debate. I promise you, this clown, every time he played sports, if he did, he expected a trophy whether he won or lost. Do you know how much that sucks? I knew a person when they went to a birthday party, and when they were young, she would buy her son a present too, even if it was somebody else's birthday party, because they didn't want him to feel. I remember when this person told me, I was like, you know what I did in the moment? I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to offend. What I wanted to say was, oh, man, you're setting this kid up for a rough road. Not everybody wins a trophy. And not everybody wins a debate. The way a debate works is you have your point of view. Somebody else stands up or asks a question and gives their point of view. And you do this back and forth. The great part about a debate is people in the audience listening may hear something that triggers thought. That triggers critical thinking. And critical thinking is being able to look into a mirror and go, holy crap, maybe I'm wrong. I need to take a look at this. And people won't do that. We don't have critical thinking. Here's where I'm going to start losing my trying to remain calm. It's the real Mr. Mahdi. Thanks for being here. You ready? Here's where I'm going to start getting pissed off. And I'm sorry, but. And now you and your convict brother are picking up the torch and doing the exact same thing, only you're not good at it. And you're angry all the time. What justifies your anger? What justifies you coming out and doing this now? Let me explain. I want to say his name, but it's a bad name. Here's what happens. For so long, and in the last couple of videos, I've asked people if you've ever had to hold your tongue, either in your relationship, Mr. Man, sorry. If you've ever had to hold your tongue in a relationship, at work, in school, in a gym, anywhere, because you didn't want to go against the grain, to put a comment in oh man, miss, no way, dude, it's been a minute. Holy mackerel, it's been a long time. Anyway, so here's what happens. I said that there's so many people that have held their tongue, kept their mouths shut. You know what happens when you do that? And Charlie Kirk looks like a lunatic. Charlie Kirk looks like the right wing lunatic fringe. When no one was standing, Joe, good to see you. When nobody is voicing their opinions and saying, you know what, the guy makes a lot of sense. When that happens, Chili, feel good to see you. Tell Spicy Jen, I said hello. What happens when everybody keeps their mouth shut, but one guy has the balls to talk? Then everybody, because everybody's keeping their mouth shut, he looks like a lunatic. And what happened is he got shot. He was killed. He was martyred for a bunch of reasons. He talked about his faith, and people that don't believe in God, that's a threatening thing. Not only that, you couldn't debate this guy. You had to have your chops, and if you did, and I'm a believer. So because of that, every time I'm in agreement with Charlie. The guy, that's my yardstick. So what happened is he was murdered, and then guess what happened? All of a sudden, everybody started speaking up. I'm Charlie Kirk. I'm Charlie Kirk. It's that hashtag I'm Charlie Kirk. And guess what they've all realized? Holy crap, they're not the minority. I'm telling you right now, we're the majority. We are. I hope this guy's listening. So what justifies me? Why am I doing this now? Because I'm not going to be silent anymore. I've had it. This is not a time to keep your mouth shut. This is not a time to keep your mouth shut. I'm not angry silver surfer. I'm just not taking it anymore. I'm going to speak up. I don't care who I offend. My yardstick is Jesus Christ. And if somebody has a problem with that, so be it. Now, I will say this. It's a whole lot easier to do that. I would have done this if I was in the United States. I have had death threats, several in the last 48 hours. If you come back, you're done. Your family should be going through what Charlie Kirk's family is going through right now, things like that. So I'm not going to hold back. Please stop causing duration. That's a comment. What a great comment. What it is this, and anger is different. If you're in traffic and you're hitting your blinker and I scream at you and yell at you or throw something at you, that's anger. You know what you're seeing in me? It's righteous indignation. And I'm not the only one. There's so many people pissed off right now, and there's some people standing up saying it's not right. And I'm sorry, here's the thing. With diehard Giants fan, oh man, there's a picture of me when I was like 4 or 5 years old wearing Dr. Dentons. You guys know what Dr. Dentons are? The New York Football Giants. In my lifetime, a couple, world Super Bowls, man. How good is that? Real deal. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm done holding my tongue. I'm done. And if I offend people, my yardstick is the Bible. My yardstick, I may not listen. I'm rough around the edges. If you say something, I believe. I'm trying not to say the right thing. I'm sure I've already got demonetized. They're demonetized. Katie is trying to drink my water. Look at this. They're trying to demonetize. They demonetized my cat videos for this thing. It's ridiculous. So what you're seeing is righteous indignation. It's not anger. may look like that. I'm done. Listen to this. Are you ready? I can't say no to it. It's my glass of water, but she's a good cat. I don't know. I don't know, Steve Smallwood. Here's the thing. I really don't know. They're cowards. They don't really use their real name. Owen, what was it, Martin? Some clown named Owen Martin threatened me the other day, and I don't think this guy threatens my life, but Owen Martin certainly did. Katie, you don't realize what she drinks. She's only drinking it because it's mine. Just so you guys know that. She is huge. Um, to me, it looks like you've listened to this. To me, it looks like you just found a new way to try to make money off people and build your audience. Let me address both of these things. He's just going to keep drinking. All right. I mean, cats get in there. It's not a problem. Making money. Let me tell you something. I made money when I did pep chili videos. I did. 32 million views. I made some money. You think I'm making any money now? I'm making nothing. Most of my videos are demonetized. They're not pushing my content, and that's okay. I'm not going to shut up. It is what it is. Making money. That's funny. I used to listen, their super chats don't happen a lot. When they do, I appreciate them so much. You understand that when somebody leaves a comment, it happens every day. If you leave a comment supporting me, you're going to have people go after you. When they go after you, I delete and block them. But it's happening. There are people in the chat that have been harassed because they're supportive of me. So there are people that aren't comfortable even putting up a super chat, and I get it and I understand. But we're in a time right now where if they think you're a supporter of me, they're going to go after you. I'm not making money. Building a audience, I have lost 60,000 plus subscribers in the last 7 months. 60,000. That's so many more than most YouTube channels could think about even getting. I've lost 60,000. You know what's beautiful though? Spirit Prof, good to see you. Even though we've lost 60,000, the number, like overall number, I was at 152,000 years ago. 7 months ago, 7 months ago. I'm only at 150 now. So I've lost a couple thousand. I've lost 60. It's only showing that I've lost 2. I've picked so many great people coming. The snowflakes, the people that can't think critically, that can't defend an argument, that when I give them points of view, I'm a fascist, I'm a Nazi. They're the ones that are leaving. And I don't mind. Goodbye. Take care. Hope you learn to become a critical thinker, please. The people that are showing up are people that are open-minded, people that are supportive. I didn't do this for money, so I'm not too concerned. God will provide. I'm really not. But to make the assertion that I'm doing this to make money off people, please. You want to know something? I'll bet you in the 9 years I've been doing this, I bet you I probably made less than $3,000 or $4,000 in super chats altogether. I made money through AdSense. For those who don't know, AdSense is when you become a monetized channel, you'll see it. If you go on my channel, you'll see a Tesla ad or whatever. Well, Tesla takes a whole chunk of money. They get a percentage. They get a percentage. That's where I've made most of my money. I don't make money. I'm not a guy who've ever asked for anything. I ask you to pray. I don't ask for anything. I'm not a guy who makes mad money on super chats. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. And if David Bullock, good to see you. And if that bothers people, I don't care. Oh, here we go. And that thing that people voted against was not just to condemn political violence, but it was on all kinds of typos. Also to honor the life of Charlie Kirk. Why? Listen to this. Are you ready? Here's who we're dealing with. Here's who the other side is. Listen to this. Why should we honor the life of Charlie Kirk if we don't agree with what he said? That should never happen on the floor of the House of Representatives or any other place. All right, let me tell you something. Most people aren't going to be around to remember this. But if you had history, you've read some books. When Kennedy was killed, all right? When John F. Kennedy was killed, was there anybody on the other side going, your kids are going to grow up without a dad? That wasn't happening. He was banging Marilyn Monroe with his brother. He did when we did the embargo against Cuba. Right before we did that, he bought, I don't know if it was 11,000 Cuban cigars because he knew that was happening. Nobody trashed him when I'm sure there were some isolated cases, but nothing like today. Nothing at all. The man was a good man. He didn't cheat on his wife. He paid his taxes. He was a good father. He didn't ever bend. He stood true to what he believed. Let me show you this. What he's talking about is this. It's important for you guys to know, especially if you're a Democrat. This is who you're voting for. This was the resolution on the floor to condemn Charlie Kirk's assassination, to honor his legacy. And the big one here is denounce political violence. Look at those numbers. 310 people said, yes, we should do that. 58 Democrats voted against it. And 38 scumbags voted present, which means I'm against it. I'm here, but I'm not going to say I'm for it. I'm not going to say I'm against it. Think of that. Look at those numbers. So when you vote, when you won't vote to condemn political violence, you know what you're saying? You're saying that you support political violence. That if somebody says the wrong thing that pisses you off, it's okay to put the crosshairs on them from a building top and pull the trigger. That's what you're saying. You're okay with that. That's if you're a Democrat, that's your party. I'm sorry, I know it's pissing a lot of people off. I don't care. I just don't. What I just showed you are accurate, true, honest to God numbers. And if you, and again, I'm not talking to you guys that are, Tommy and I have a great superpower, the best people. So I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the clown that wrote this and the clowns that think like this. There you go. Since you're so smart at this, and you want people to debate you, why don't you explain those points? It says to be genius. I think this clown meant to me genius. Explain it to me. I'm going through every single one of the things that you said, and I'm touching on all of them. I've had so many people that, and you know the funny thing is, there's only a couple different things that they attack Charlie. One of them is race. I've heard, if you knew how many times, I've seen 30 or 40 emails that said if he was on a plane with a black pilot, he'd get off the plane. Never said that. Never said that. He was talking about DEI. And I've explained this before, Tommy, but what he was saying was, if I'm on a plane, knowing what DEI is, it's the racist thing in the world. It doesn't matter what you can be a lower quality candidate, or we're going to get because of your skin color. That sucks. It's racist. But he didn't say that. What he said was this: if I'm on a plane, pilot, I just want to know that he was the best candidate for the job, and he didn't get it because, he may not have been as good a pilot, but I wouldn't want to be on that plane if I thought he only got it because of his skin color. Listen, I've had a lot of surgeries. I wouldn't care who my surgeon was. I wouldn't care what color my surgeon was, as long as he's the best surgeon for the job. Not everybody can. Listen, think about it. In a medical class, there's somebody that graduates last. Doesn't mean he's a bad surgeon, but in planes and things like that, what did Martin Luther King say? Content of character, not the color of your skin. How did we get so far away from that? How did we get so far away from that? God. By the way, I hope this is a funny one. This is great. Are you ready? By the way, I hope that they catch you and your brother breaking the law down there, and you spend the rest of your life in an Ecuadorian prison, because nobody's dumb enough to believe that you're not down there committing crimes. That's who you are, and the people on your channel are too dumb to recognize that. I feel bad for them. You just take a dump on me, take a dump on you guys. First of all, I don't spit on the sidewalk. In fact, if I'm walking down the sidewalk, I did this today. I saw a rapper on the sidewalk. I was back from the ATM machine. I saw a rapper, which is very unusual. You never see rappers. I just shown you never see rappers like garbage on the sidewalk. I saw it, I picked it up, I carried it until I saw the next garbage can, and I threw it in. I don't break the law. I don't break the law. In fact, when I was in the United States, I didn't break the law. I haven't broken the law. Listen, I was a gangster. I was a criminal for a long time. I was a bad guy. Did some terrible, terrible things. I own it. I told you. I don't do that now. But he's sure that I'm going to end up in Ecuador. Now, here's the part that really. So if you're a believer, just prepare yourself for this one. If I believe in a God, I would be praying for him, but God doesn't exist. And science is proving that you're a real genius. Go ahead and delete this and know you won't respond. Both of you are cowards. And he said, you're cowards with the way Owen did. Y-O-U-R instead of Y apostrophe R-E. Um, you know what's wonderful about faith in God? Faith is believing something with zero Lego, bro. It's believing with something without proof. That's it. I was talking to somebody this morning who's kind of new in their faith, and I said, from the Bible, doubting Thomas. Thomas said, "I'm not going to believe until I see the hole in his hands." Jesus was. This is after, came back from the dead 3 days later, and he approached Thomas and showed him the hole in his hands and the cut in his side, the hole in his feet. What did Thomas do? I believe. Now, Jesus could materialize in front of every single person on this planet and go, look at the hole in my hand. And we'd have everybody believers. But God doesn't want robots. He wants children that have faith in him. Now, nothing that's changed in my life can I truly take ownership of. I've done a lot of hard work, and I try, but everything that's good in my life is from Jesus. That's the truth. The change have happened with me and Tommy. Let me tell you something. I was in the recovery center last Wednesday with Tommy, sitting in a Bible study. I looked over at him, and it was a beautiful Bible study. It really was nice. And I looked at Tommy, and I said, man, 20 years ago, I said, look, we're sitting in a Bible study at a recovery center in South America. If I told you 20 years ago that this was going to be happening, what would you say? And he laughed. He goes, if you told me 5 years ago, I would have laughed. But I'm a testimony to what God can do. It's funny. I can look in the stars and I see God. The intelligent design. It used to be evolution or intelligent design. That's what it was. That was the fight. It was evolution or two cells in a bog became monkeys and kind of did the whole thing. It was evolution and the argument was intelligent design. Now science has proven the debate's over. They've proven there's intelligent design. Higgs boson, the God particle. It's everywhere. He doesn't believe in God. Pray for this guy. Pray for him. Can't imagine that. Silver Surfer. It's funny. Your trolls watch, save, and edit your content. They're doing to me what they, I'm nothing like Charlie Kirk. When he died, I said, I'm 10 times the man. But I'm not important. I'm not dangerous enough. But they still do it to me. The same thing they did to Charlie. What they'll do is they'll take words that I've said, cut off the beginning of it, cut off the last part, and just take a little bit of stuff like the middle. Say, you said this. So you're right. I did. I have a great memory. I know what I said. Hi, Brad. God facts. Good to see you. We are created in His image. Absolutely. So, I look at peppers and I see God. I look at a baby and I see. There are people that are just not going to see. I was blind, but now I see. I see. There are a lot of people that don't. Roger says, funny you mentioned the stars. I'm about to go out and do some telescopic observing. That's the one. I'll be honest with you. I shouldn't say it's the only thing. I miss my friends and my family would see. That's what I miss. I also miss the stars. I have not seen a star, and I have a friend that I love dearly that sent me a picture of the moon a few times from their home. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen the moon or the stars in 5 months because of all the light pollution. And it's funny, I've been on the balcony here when we've had a power outage in all of Half Moon Bay. There's not a light anywhere at night. And you still can't see the stars because of any light at all is reflected so hard on the water, it just gives up any chance of seeing stars in the moon. But I love that. And I'm a bit jealous, Roger. That's how you'll be able to identify the Antichrist. There are no holes in his hands. He's going to come on the scene. What's funny about the Antichrist? He's going to come on the scene and have all the answers. Everybody's going to be like, oh my God. You know what? In Revelation, it says that when the Antichrist comes on the scene, everybody will know immediately who he is. Think about that just for a second. That was written thousands of years ago. That was written at a time where if I needed to get Mike Bragg and a message, I'd have to get on a boat with and then go as far as I can and hand it off to a kid on a donkey, and point to the right direction and how to navigate the stars. It was impossible for everybody in the world to know. Look at the internet. Everybody's going to know. There's signs are everywhere. No, it's crazy. You don't think I'm nuts? I don't care. I really don't. His creation is beyond fascinating. It really is. It really is. Lego, I love you. Thanks for being here, man. You know what's funny? Good comment. It takes far more faith to believe that all this happened. Here's the thing, though. I get it. If you talk to somebody who's not a believer, and you said, "Listen, God was around in the Old Testament, and He's present, talking to people," they couldn't relate. It was a God. So he sent his son, virgin birth. Virgin birth. He was going to grow and be sinless. And at 33, he was going to be nailed to a tree. He was going to be killed. 3 days later, he was going to rise from the dead. That sounds nuts, doesn't it? Can I tell you something? It takes way more faith to believe that 2 cells in a bomb got together and over years. It takes so much more faith to believe that 2 cells in a bomb kind of evolved to this. That's nuts to me. Tony Loretta says, Mr. Scoville, have you tried any fresh local Ecuadorian peppers yet? I have. I've had red habaneros and a couple others. Here's the thing. There's not a lot of, I messaged Dizzy Dragon, put me in contact with the Ecuadorian sauce company. I messaged them. I don't know if they messaged me back yet. Maybe I'm a lightning rod for controversy. I don't know what the deal is, but if they message me, great. If they don't, they don't. Bella Italiano is an Italian restaurant just down the street from where we are, and Luis is the owner. He's a fantastic guy. He's our closest friend here. Wonderful. He really is. He's a super nice guy. And I said to him, your pepper sauce that you put on the table, it's amazing. I want some of the peppers you use to get that. So I'm probably going to get hook up with that. God Facts Podcast. Thank you so much for your super chat. It's courageous. I appreciate that. Matthew 10:22. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake, but he who endures to be saved. Can I tell you something? It's an honor to be done. I told you guys this. You have to say hi to Tommy for me. Hey, Tommy. Bully says hello. He says hello, brother. When I was a little boy, my grandmother was young, and I was probably 10, 12 years old. I was a young guy. And she said to me, someday in the future, it may be illegal to be a Christian, to believe in Jesus. That could happen. That's where we're headed. And she said, if that ever happened and you were taken to court, there'd be evidence to convict you. Even as a young boy, I was thinking, ooh, I hope so. I'm making sure of it. I'm making sure of it. Have you ever considered moving to my home country of Colombia? No, not at all. Wild horses couldn't take me away from this. And I'm not thinking Colombia. I've never been there, but absolutely. Here's the thing. Other than Tommy and myself, I haven't seen any anger out of anybody since we've been here. Everybody's just happy and content, and they're kind, and they're very, very sweet. I mean, honestly, that's the funny thing. When Tommy and I were thinking about coming here, the dollar, they use the American currency, fantastic, and it goes a long way. Like $1 is worth about $14 here, so the money goes a long way. That was one of the big draws. The beauty of the city was a big draw. Real estate, you can get real estate inexpensive. Out there, good to see you. It's very inexpensive. So those are the draws that we were really motivated by when we first came. And it didn't take a week, not even a week, because we checked into a hotel just down past Chipipi. The 13-year-olds giggling right now. Chipipi. They were the kindest, most amazing in this hotel. I'm going to tell you how kind they were at the time. Listen, when we checked in, I said, how much? He says, $40 a night. I hand him the $40. Here's your key. Here's your room. There was no, let me put you in the computer. I need some ID. Hi, Skylar. It was the most amazing thing. But they were so kind and so sweet. And when we left, and I'm not making this up, a couple of them were in tears when we left. I swear it's the truth. When Tommy had a bad tooth that needed to get pulled, I'd never seen him in more pain. It was my brother. You know what I mean? I don't like seeing him in pain. Yeah, the last night that we had it, he was up all night long. He was in agony, and we went to a place called Biodental in Ecuador, in Salinas here, and our the appointment was at 9:30. We made a mistake, and we thought it was at 9. So we're there at like 5 minutes to 9, and it wasn't open yet. And we were looking through, kind of looking through the glass, and there was a man. I don't know what you. I guess they call him maestro. Where they do all they call him maestro, or like I don't know. He was cleaning up basically. He was a super nice guy, but he opened the door and he goes, look at Tommy and goes, and he knew a little bit of English. He's like, you're in pain, you're hurting, or something. And Tommy's like, he took us right in. The place wasn't open yet. He took us right in, called the doctor on the phone. The doctor was there. 5 minutes, you think? Maybe 5 minutes. And after the doctor got there, I swear to you, I'm telling you the truth. After the doctor got there, within 60 to 90 seconds, and I could hear the doctor. He's like, he was using a voice app, the same app I use, but voice. He would type it in and hit a button. It would speak in English. And he said, "You're okay. Breathe. You're not going to be in any pain. This is not going to hurt you. This is going to be easy." And I was listening to that. We did the entire procedure. We were done before the appointment was originally supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen at 9:30. 20 minutes after. Yeah, I hit him with some Novocaine. What kind of music do you like? Yeah, he said, "What kind of music do you like?" And he was playing music, and I was doing this because I thought for sure he was going to scream. So I'm doing this. Tommy was handling it tough. Good night, heard you. Thank you for being. When we were done, we got done. He was done at 20 after. So before. I'm sorry, the audio is choppy. Hang in there. I'm almost done. It was done at 9:20. Remember, the appointment wasn't even until 9:30. As we're getting to walk out, he says to my brother, "What's your name?" He didn't even know his name. There was not one piece of paper to fill out. Not one at all. The only reason he asked his name is because he had to write a prescription for ibuprofen and antibiotics. And that was the only reason. If he didn't have to, that was it. But I love Salinas. I love this place so much. I really do. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And the people are kind. And I feel safe here. Nobody's following me around. You know what I mean? I'm not being investigated by anybody. Passed a FBI criminal background check. I got to tell you something. Salinas loves the Scovins. Every week we're at the recovery center. And our lives have changed from being here. I kid you not. Every way possible. It's been the most amazing experience. I'm so much stronger in my faith. And I've been a believer for a really long time, but I'm so much stronger in my faith now. I'm also not ashamed to talk about it. And it wasn't that I was ashamed to talk about it. You know what it was? I'm embarrassed to say this. Same thing as what I said earlier. You ever hold your tongue because you don't want to say the wrong thing? If I spoke about it, I'm like, man, a lot of people are going to bail. And I wanted to appeal to everybody. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. So if you ever, my email is chasetheheat@gmail.com. Is my internet really terrible? If my email is chasetheheat@gmail.com. If you're going to send me a hateful email, do it from an email account that I can actually email you back. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, that requires things. It really, right? I've never known you to be ashamed to talk about Christ, Johnny. I've known you since 2017. Yes, you have, my friend. No, it's not that I was never really ashamed. I was lobbing it down the middle. I didn't want to offend anybody. Now I don't care who I offend. Charlie's yardstick was the Bible. Charlie's yardstick was Jesus. That's mine. So much in my life. You know what I've done? I told you this in a previous video. Tommy and I, with our dad, we used to go to this restaurant. I can't remember where in Nashville, New Hampshire, and it was a Chinese restaurant. You go in, they said one from column A and one from column B, and we'd look and say, "I want that, and I want this." That's how you'd order. That's how I treated my faith for a really long time. There was aspects of the Bible, and I was like, "Yeah, I can get behind that." And there were others, I was like, "I'm not going to look at that right now," because it would have to alter how I live. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not. All of the chips I got are pushed into the middle. That's it. Here's the deal. One day, it says in the Bible that every man has an appointment with death. All of us, everybody here. There's going to come a time where every knee will bow and every tongue will confess Jesus Christ is Lord. And when that day comes, even the people that you're going to hear one of two things. You're going to hear, well done, thy good and faithful servant, or you're going to hear, I didn't know you. That gives me shivers, and I'm a believer. It gives me shivers. Because even the ones that don't believe are going to bow their, take a knee, and they're going to say, Jesus Christ is Lord. They're going to turn away, and they're going to be separate from God for eternity. So I'm doing everything I can to make really sure when that day comes, I'm a good and faithful servant. And it is what it is. Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. Listen to this. Charlie was definitely an awakening. And as morbid as it may sound, I feel like it was almost some type of blessing. Let me tell you something. Before he went out on stage that day, he said, he was saying, use me any way you see fit. That's what he said. I think in that moment, God did a great job bringing you home. He's not in any, listen, there's no tears in heaven. He's not missing his wife, as bad as that sounds. People don't believe, won't get it. He's in paradise, and his wife is strong. She is. And the kids are going to be strong. But everybody's awake now. We are not a minority. You guys have to understand that. And we need to, everybody, I encourage everybody to be bold. Don't be I'm a prick sometimes. I say things that piss people off. I don't say it, I don't say it with kick gloves. I hit you with a brick that's wrapped in velvet. Maybe that's not the right way to handle things. But I encourage everybody to be bold. Try not to be offensive. I'm trying not to be offensive. I didn't really yell today, right? I didn't yell today. Did I yell today? See, I didn't yell. So I'm getting better at it. I mean, I'm not. I could if you guys had helped me. Reference. That was Tommy. Tommy won't either. Right? Back that up. Well, that's the thing. Is as a result, his efforts have become 100-fold. Fact, and he definitely is sitting right next to Christ and God. But that's the deal, you guys. I'm not gonna, if you want to send me an email, have the stones to have an actual email address that I can email you back. If you do send me an email and I don't recognize you, I'm just gonna say, hey, tune in tonight to see if it's real. If it's real, I might send you an email. If it, but be bold, be strong in your faith. It's only gonna get worse. Things are crazy right now. You guys watch the news. I'm going to talk about this. Stuff going on in Portland, Venezuela. We're this far from martial law in a lot of places. And I'm telling you, war's coming. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not brave. I'm saved. I know how this movie ends. I've read the book. They ain't nothing to me that's very cool. Madness. All right, so listen, I appreciate you guys. You're patient with me. Anybody have any questions before I bounce? If I offended you, I'm sorry. And I'm not really sorry. I'm not really sorry. I get better at being more kind in the things that I say. But I will apologize again if I hurt your feelings. Put a helmet on. Life's tough. It's how it works. Hey, Tommy. Joel, Chicago, says hi. You know what's funny, Gornash? Whoops. Thursday, Barbara. We're excited. Today I'm chopping about all the sandwiches. Here's a great comment. Gornash said, that's my mother yelling, saying she's not yelling. Let me tell you something funny. You know what I've learned a lot? And this is the truth. I've actually had this happen. I was talking to somebody once, and they said, stop yelling at me. I was like, I haven't raised my voice at all. When you say things that people don't like, the tone that they hear and the message that they hear oftentimes isn't at all what you're saying. And that's what's happening now. And when people can't debate, they can't think critically, they pull sound bites and they pull false narratives and they lie. When you can show them the truth, you know what you get? You get that. You're a fascist. They start giving you the isms and, that's what happens. Toughen up, put the helmet on, and learn, educate yourself. I dare you. Here's the thing. You ever know? I'm done. Sorry, I can keep going. You guys are awesome. I appreciate everybody being here. Oh, hang on a minute. Like Greg, you and Tommy going to surf fish at any time. You know what? It's not something we planned. We had a plan. We had a lot of plans of things to do before we got here, and our time is just gobbled up. But I'd like to go surfing. I used to surf a lot when I was young, and I saw waves. 4 days ago, a mile and a half that way. You can see a little beautiful left hand peeling break, the point break on the beach, and it's beautiful. And I watch it all the time. And I was on the balcony the other day, and I'm telling you, I've never seen a wave that big in my life in real life. I've seen it in videos and stuff. I couldn't believe how big. I looked at Tom. I'm like, I couldn't surf that. A little too strong for me. Joseph says, "Don't be sorry, please. Don't be sorry. Only got one life to live. Live it for Jesus." Amen. That's what I'm gonna do, man. Like I said, I know how this movie ends. I've watched a lot of like end of the world movies, and this feels like we're living one of them. And we're really close to the credits rolling. That's what it feels like to me. Gorilla, good to see you. And tell your wife we said hello. You guys are all great. You know what? I resemble those remarks. Chef Bobby, good to see you. All right, guys, I'm done. Tommy's calling me names. Oh, you know what I did today? I didn't tell you what I did today. As I was in the cab going to the Supermax day. I drove by the faggot salesman. I got a great video. No, I'm going to stop in and see him. He's got little bundles of sticks, puts it in a tin can. And if you're coming down, you can smell mesquite. It's amazing. The first time we walked by, Tommy goes, "You smell that?" I said, "It's beautiful, isn't it?" He goes, "I smell faggots." I laughed so hard I almost peed my pants. We need to learn to laugh again and have a sense of humor. No, I'm not self-editing my speech anymore. I never used it in a way that people get offended by it. I've been calling Tommy that since he was 4. I'm sorry about that, dude. Richard says you can't debate with leftists. Never believe the truth. They have a serious psychosis that blinds them to the truth. Some of them do. Some of them do. Lisa says, for me, a lot of time it's about asking questions. Amen. You know what? You never learn when you're talking. You guys know that, right? You ever heard that? You never learn. I don't learn. Nobody learns when you're talking. Ever. You learn when you're listening. By the way, for those of you praying for Jigsaw, he's got a couple job interviews. How bloody cool is that? Right? That's God flexing. I got you. For one of your men, one of your boys, got you. So, guys, keep me in your prayers and Tommy in your prayers. We appreciate that. We pray for you guys every night. I kid you not, every single night. And actually, every time we pray, we do. And I'm not even just joking. By the way, this is really cool. Thank you so much, Christian. Once again, here's the PayPal for the Recovery Center. Every penny goes directly to the Recovery Center. It's Our Hope is in Jesus, is the name of the Recovery Center. And every single penny goes to the cause. No one's taking a dime out of it. And Tommy and I have helped out and given some money, and we come back and we're kidding. That's what we do with it. Amazing things are happening. Anyway, I love you guys a lot. I'm sorry I kept you on so long. Be kind. Do not miss Tommy tonight. Are you heated? Are you on one? Love you guys. I'm Johnny Scoville, and this was Chasing the Love. See you guys.